good afternoon, West Ham fans. We kick off against Nottingham Forest in a couple of short hours. So let's try and predict the starting 11, shall we? So anyone new to the channel, what we try and do a couple of hours before is try and predict the starting 11 for the game that kicks off in a few hours' time. However, it's not an exact science at the moment. You know, one thing you can always say about David Moyes was you could pick the starting 11. But as we know, Julian it's about the squad. And there's always one or two little question marks. We know definitely out is Nicholas Fulkrug. No return date on him as such. Maybe after the international break, potentially the Newcastle game could be a marker, but we'll wait and see. We know no Kudus either. He serves the second of his current of his ban. So again, we know those two out, but the rest, anything's possible. Obviously, when we came to the game against Man United, he dropped obviously Areola for Lucas Fabianski, and Mavropanos came in, and some of it wasn't on the pitch from the start. So lots to contemplate. So let's try and crack into it, shall we? So here we go. Right, now, looking good so far. Now, obviously, start with the goalkeeper. We know that Areola obviously was dropped for the game against Man United. Obviously won the game, and obviously there does tend to be a mantra among sort of head coaches and managers to not change a winning side. So with that in mind, I think Fabianski stays in goal. I think he does. Now it might completely change. He might put obviously Areola in goal, but it just seems that there might be not a change in the guy, but you know, it would be probably worthwhile to give him a couple of games, you know, and then when he comes back, he'll be all guns blazing. You know, there was a marked improvement in distribution when it came to Fabianski, but and again, there's a couple of saves. He flapped as well. It wasn't a perfect performance by him, but I think he's probably earned the right to stay between the sticks for the game against Forest, in my eyes. I think the back four, he's pretty much picks itself now. Wan-Bissaka, if he's fit, he plays. Simple. I think, again, if Todibo is fit, he plays. You know, he wasn't featured in the when the club did their behind-the-scenes training. Couldn't see him anywhere. And obviously, he didn't start against United as he picked up a knock, but came on and had a fantastic second half. And if he's still not 100% yet, we've got a fucking good player on our hands, haven't we? Fucking good player on our hands. So long and then Mr. Ever Present, played every minute so far for Lopetegui this season for West Ham. Matt Skillman, and I think him and Todibo as a two is so suited. There, I mean, some have suggested maybe a back three, but I just haven't seen enough to suggest. And the fact that Mavropanos was taken up at half time against United doesn't stem me with confidence that he would start with him, in all honesty. And then left back Emerson, simple. And I thought Emerson started to see a bit of the old Emerson, particularly that second half against Forest, against Man United, rather, because in my eyes, he had a left winger in front of him, someone he could work with, rather than who's someone like Lucas. He never worked as much as such. Let's move into midfield now. This is what I think we'll see. Probably, I mean, I reckon the side he picks in a couple of hours' time, or announced a couple of times, I reckon it'll piss a lot of people off, because I think he'll go back to a very regimented midfield, as he tends to do. Then second half, he seems to just, it's like Jekyll and Hyde. First half, he seems to keep it like quite tight, quite pragmatic, and then second half, he'll throw on the Somerville and the Carlos Soler and people like that. And I think that's what we'll probably see today, to be honest. So I think Rodriguez comes. I think he did have a bad game against United. I think he's starting to maybe get up to speed or find his role in the team a little bit better than he has done the last few games. I think he partners alongside an energetic Edson Alvarez, who's, as we know this week, has shipped in his personal fitness guru and chef as well in attempts to improve his performances. Now, that's those two. I mean, it's a solid side. It's not exciting. It's a solid side. Then I think this is where people are going to get pissed, maybe a little bit more pissed off. I think, for me, Paqueta gets dropped. I think Carlos Soler gets dropped. Both were taken off at half-time against United. I think Tommy Souček comes back in. And not as a 10, but sort of adds to that midfield 3. I just think this is the type of game that he'd put Souček in, away from home, midfield, and those 3 could, you got to think Forest without the likes of Sanye and obviously JWP is obviously not playing. They could physically dominate that midfield. Morgan Gibbs-White, there's a question mark about him as well. So that to me is what he'll do. He'll try and physically overpower that midfield. And then I think the rest of it sort of writes itself, hopefully. For me, I believe that Bowen will play on the right-hand side. Nothing controversial about that. I believe Somerville will play. Although, again, as I said on the live show yesterday, it would surprise me either way if whatever happens with Somerville. He may take the decision to actually not play Somerville and start with Soler and sort of really pack in that midfield potentially. And not necessarily play 2 up front, but play Bowen, slightly more centrally, maybe allow Wan-Bissaka to drift through to the right-hand side a bit more. We don't know. I can't pinpoint what Lopetegui ball is to me, apart from first half, keep it tight, second half, be a bit more expansive. And then, considering he's probably only, I suppose you've got Danny Ings as well, but then I think Antonio goes up front. I think Emerson with a proper left winger in front of him would benefit tremendously. And second half, particularly against United, he was a different player. I mean, there was times where he was almost, it was a shot, he had a couple of shots in the second half where he'd run into the box. And that's what I want to see more of from him, because that really does galvanise and brings everyone forward a bit more. But I think that's what we'll end up going with. To be honest, there's not many really, you could look at it and say, no, I don't even know. Danny Ings, no. I mean, Paqueta and Soler, yeah, either or could replace Souček and some of them. He might even start the same side that he started, with the exception of Todibo, against United. But I just don't see it. I think it's going to be more pragmatic, which is a horrible word we don't like to say, but I think that's what we'll see. But again, what's the time now? We'll find in a couple of hours what he comes up with. But that's what I think is likely. Not necessarily my starting 11, but what I think is likely to happen. But until next time, take care, stay safe, stay warm, stay humble, keep the faith. And let us know in the comments below quickly now, not in like a couple of hours' time where you're the teams announced, oh, I got it right. Let us know what your 11s are in the comments, please. Take care. Much love. Bye-bye.